Good morning. It's Monday. I'm sorry that we missed Sunday school yesterday, but we had a heroic Sunday school out in the backyard yesterday at 10 o'clock our time, where Constance and I hosted a little, I guess, workshop, if you will, about the Gnostic Mass. We didn't celebrate a Gnostic Mass, but we walked through the Gnostic Mass, or at least part of it, and shared part of our mini Mass seminar among local people here at the local OTO Lodge, 418 Lodge here in Sacramento. And it went very well. I think it went very well. It did for me anyway. And we enjoyed seeing everybody. And my phone is ringing here, so I'm just going to turn that off. And do you want to hear my answering machine? It's coming up here, I think, in just a moment.
You've reached Lon and Constance. Please leave a message with your name and phone number, and we'll try to get back with you as soon as possible.
No, we won't. We get so many robocalls that we've completely turned our phone off. We don't hear it ring, and but we do hear the phone message when the phone machine goes on, and maybe we get one call in 3 or 4 days where it's actually somebody we know trying to leave us a message. Otherwise, it's one of these crazy robocalls. And I have to confess, I have a dark side. And sometimes when when I'd answer a robocall,
I have to pull him away from the phone. He toys with people very cruelly, and I can hear it from the other room, and I make him stop because it upsets me. He tells them things about his dead father. That they caused his dead father. I think they killed his father. He gets off. It's funny, but it's way too dark. And some poor person in India just trying to make money, to feed her family.
I'm sorry, yes, I have a dark side, and I try to make telemarketers feel bad about themselves. And I get really dark sometimes and talk about Kali and things like that. And Constance just gets so upset. So I just turn it off completely, so I don't go to my dark side every time the phone rings. Anyway, I'm sort of leaving off. We did the 22 Crowley mnemonics from the Book of Thoth concerning each of the tarot trumps on Saturday, and I was going to go continue through to the the 2 and 20 secret instructions of the Master from Crowley's Heart of the Master, which in this beautiful little published edition, it's probably rare now, again, the way things go. But each of those are illustrated by a pretty good half-tone version of the trumps from the Thoth Tarot. But I thought, just for fun, I'd share each one of the little poem type things, and they're really short little things, but illustrate it with our Tarot of Ceremonial Magic. So that's what I'm going to do today. So, starting with 0. If I can do this correctly, you can probably see the card. I guess I'll hold it that way so it doesn't glare. 0. No, not. N-A-U-G-H-T. No, not. All ways are lawful to innocence. Pure folly is the key to initiation. Silence breaks into rapture. Be neither man nor woman, but both in one. Be silent. Babe in the egg of blue, that thou mayest grow to bear the lance and grail. I'll say that again. Be silent, babe in the egg of blue, that thou mayest grow to bear the lance and grail. Wander alone and sing. In the king's palace, his daughter awaits thee. I love this stuff. The next card is, excuse me so I don't spill these all over the place. This is Crowley's Magician, which is, of course, magnificent. The true self is the meaning of the true will. Know thyself through thy way. Calculate well the formula of thy way. Create freely, absorb joyously, divide intently, consolidate completely. Work thou omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent, in and for eternity. Now, Crowley was not egotistical enough to put his own face as the magician, so I did it for him. Nobody would put their own face on their own tarot. That'd be stupid. The High Priestess. Purity is to live only to the highest, and the highest is all. Be thou Artemis to Pan. Read thou in the book of the law, and break through the veil of the Virgin. Now, even though Constance colored these cards and painted them, I did the drawing, so I put her face. It wasn't her ego that did this. I put her face on the Empress card. This is the harmony of the universe, that love unites the will to create with the understanding of that creation. Understand thou thine own will. Love and let love rejoice in every shape of love, and get thy rapture and thy nourishment thereof. Oh, well, I take it back about that image on the, excuse me, well, actually, I tried to put my face on all of the cards, but just couldn't figure out how. The Emperor. Use all thine energy to rule thy thought. Burn up thy thought as the phoenix. I love the qliphothic image for this. I call it dickhead. Okay. Oh, I'm a vulgar man. Okay. Enough of this ego thing. Oops, excuse me. Offer thyself virgin to the knowledge and conversation of thine holy guardian angel. All else is a snare. Be thou athlete with the 8 limbs of yoga, for without these thou art not disciplined for any fight. Oh, there's Constance too, and there's our good friend Steve Abbott. I hope he's watching. He's up there in Oregon at the moment. The Lovers. The oracle of the gods is the child voice of love in thine own soul. Hear thou it. Heed not the siren voice of sense or the phantom voice of reason. Rest in simplicity and listen to the silence. Now this is a kind of a mysterious one. Well, they're all mysterious, but this is particularly vague and super secret. The issue of the vulture, 2 in 1, conveyed. This is the chariot of power, Trinc, T-R-I-N-C, Trinc, the last oracle. Okay, I got to talk just a second about that. Okay, the charioteer holds the Holy Grail. Okay, the Holy Grail, we could say, well, it holds technically what's called the blood of the martyrs. Okay, but that blood is the life of all evolving consciousness. It's the life of evolving humanity, if you will. And the chariot that has for its path on the tree of life, it crosses directly across the abyss from number 5, Gebura, to number 3, Bina. The charioteer, that's like a shortcut across the abyss. The charioteer delivers. He's a delivery man. He's the UPS of the life of evolving consciousness. Across the abyss and delivers it to Bina, to Babylon. It's with that, she takes that cup and she trots along that path of Venus, or the Emperor path, to number 2, and wakes up the All-Father, gets him drunk. They make love again, and the whole thing, and in their ecstasy, 3 and 2, remember, they're not 3 and 2, they're just 1. Well, anyway, that whole thing and the idea of Trinc comes from the story of Panurge and the chapel of the bottle. But why the issue of the vulture? It has to do with the Holy Spirit and the vivifying effect of the Holy Spirit. You know how the Holy Spirit appears as a dove in Christian literature. Gabriel appears to Mary as a dove and knocks her up, makes her pregnant. Well, in Egyptian mythology, by tradition, and I think it probably started by ancient Egyptians observing that when the wind blows, when that hot desert wind blows, vultures try to stay on the ground, and they turn their backs to the wind, okay, to sort of aerodynamically sort of get out of the wind and don't get sand in their eyes and stuff like that. And when they turn their back to the wind, their tail feathers blow up, so it looks like the wind is blowing up their ass. And perhaps for some reason they've never observed vultures actually in the act of mating, because vultures must mate in private. They don't like people watching. Anyway, the myth started that the vultures get pregnant. Okay, without they get pregnant by the wind. So that vulture babies are different than all other bird babies that have the classic male-female kind of mating process, but that the wind, the spirit of the wind, pneumonia, makes vultures pregnant. So vultures get pregnant by magical means, and part of that is linked up to that story of the temple of the chapel of the bottle, where the main character Pan says, "Hey, is marriage right for me? Should I get married?" He goes to the temple of the bottle, and the bottle actually cracks and makes the noise trink. And Panurge takes that as a sign that, oh yes, you should get married. Okay, marriage is a it's a good thing, and drink deeply from the well of life. Okay, so trink is a alchemical term for drink. Take back into yourself. And it's the formula of Eucharistic magic, where you take an inert substance and magically make it God and then eat it. So, drink from that cup. But I digress. The next one in order here is number 8. Balance. Each thought its exact opposite. Balance against each thought its exact opposite. For the marriage of these is the annihilation of illusion. And Constance just stood there and made that pose for us. I wish you could have seen that. It was it was an illusion. Okay, now I got my cards all screwed up here. Darn you, Crowley! I'll just put this right here. Okay, 9. There we go. Come on, back up. The Hermit, number 9. Wander alone, bearing the light and staff. And be the light so bright that no man seeth thee. Be not moved by aught without or within. Keep silence in all ways. And this is probably one of the most stylized of our cards. the lamp of the sun, and just the hooded face of the hermit, which is an image of Crowley. Okay. The Wheel of Fortune. There we go. Follow fortune, careless of where it lead thee. The axle moveth not. Attain thou that. Okay. Lust. This is what keeps this deck out of federal prisons. Mitigate energy with love, but let love devour all things. Worship the name blank, 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 blank. There's no words there, just line. And it says, the name to be communicated to those worthy of that initiation. Worship the name foursquare, mystic, wonderful, and the name of his house 418. Okay. The Hanged Man, the Hanged Lawn. Let not the waters whereon thou journeyest wet thee. And being come to shore, plant thou the vine and rejoice without shame. Now this is the water card, okay? Hanged Man is hanging like a baby just before it gets born, upside down, surrounded by the amniotic fluid. But can you hear the myth of Noah and Noah's Ark in this little statement here? Let not the waters whereon thou journeyest, like Noah's Ark, don't let it wet thee. And being come to shore, so when the ark stopped and finally landed when the waters receded, first thing Noah did was hop out of the ark and plant vineyards. And the first thing he did with the first vintage, he squoze those grapes and got drunk. He got so drunk that he wandered around naked and passed out, and his sons saw him naked. It's a crazy story, okay? And it's used to, one of his sons actually saw him naked and was cursed for the rest of his life. And so people said one race or another came from that son, so that's why they should be slaves. So, but it makes about as much sense as anything to enslave somebody. Okay. Once again, let not the waters whereon thou journeyest wet thee, and being come to shore, plant thou the vine and rejoice without shame. Actually, my Sunday school teacher in Columbus, Nebraska, told me that black people should not have the same rights as white people because black people were descended from the son of Noah that saw him naked. Yeah. That's how they tried to program me. Death! Death to the telemarketers. Death to my Sunday school. Yeah, he's long dead. Okay. The universe's change. Every change is the effect of an act of love. All acts of love contain pure joy. Die daily. Death is the apex of one curve of the snake. Death is the apex of one curve of the snake life. Behold all opposites as necessary complements, and rejoice. This used to be the temperance card. Crowley now calls it art. Now, the description in what I'm about to read sort of comes from the more classic image of the temperance card. We've got an angel pouring water on a fire symbol, that lion, and pouring fire on a water symbol, that eagle. But that lion and eagle have changed their original colors. The lion is now white and lunar white, and the eagle is now red or solar red. In other words, male and female are turning into their opposites magically by having the opposite element poured on them. It's an alchemical wonder. And there's a cool angel. And right in back of them, it looks like a big halo that's in back of them, but that's not a halo. That's an egg. That's the Orphic egg. And it's been fertilized and it's being incubated right now in this alchemical card. And so all that stuff that's going on in front of that giant egg is really trying to tell us what's going on inside that giant egg. And the heat that's being produced by this magic combination, transmutation of these opposites, is that cauldron. And that cauldron has a death's head, a raven sitting on a skull. That means that cauldron is the death card. In a sense, they go together. Pour thine all freely from the vase in thy right hand, and loose no drop. Hath not thy left hand a vase? Transmute all wholly into the image of thy will. Bring each to its true token of perfection. Dissolve the pearl in the wine cup. Drink, and make manifest the virtue of the pearl. Okay. The devil. Now, I'm going to take a little detour to talk about that image right there. In chapter 33 of the Book of Lies, Crowley says number 33 is the number of the last degree of Masonry, which was conferred upon Frater P in the year 1990 of the Vulgar era by Don Jesus de Medina Sidonia in the city of Mexico. So, that is the image of the 33rd degree. And Crowley was initiated in the Cerno Scottish Rite, which is a little bit different. But this is the 33rd degree symbol. Now, when you see it in color, that triangle at the top is black. And very many times you see an I in it instead of the number 33. And there's a crown, and then there's a double-headed eagle, and that double-headed eagle is on a sword, standing on a sword, okay? So, now if you kind of squint your eyes and look and think of those two heads of the eagle as horns, think about what kind of image that you're looking at there. While I read quickly. Chapter 33 of the Book of Lies, Baphomet. A black two-headed eagle is God. Even a black triangle is he. In his claws he beareth a sword. Yea, a sharp sword is held therein. The eagle is burnt up in the great fire, yet not a feather is scorched. This eagle is swallowed up in the great sea, yet not a feather is wetted. So flieth he in the air, and lighteth upon the earth at his pleasure. So spake Jacobus Burgunsus Malensis, the Grand Master of the Temple, and of God, and of the God that is ass-headed, did he dare not speak. Okay. Sorry for that digression. Here's what it says in the Heart of the Master. With thy right eye create all for thyself, and with the left accept all that be created otherwise. The Tower. Oh, you're always happy to see the Tower come up in a tarot reading. When you're reading for yourself, when the Tower comes up, you go, oh, I'm glad that showed up. That must mean I'm going to escape from some kind of prison in my life. But I digress. Break down the fortress of thine individual self, that thy truth may spring free from the ruins. Pour water on thyself, thus shalt thou be a fountain to the universe. Find thou thyself in every star. Achieve thou every possibility. Let the illusion of the world pass over thee unheeded, as thou goest from midnight to the morning. Roll up the excrement of the earth to create a star. Give forth thy light to all without doubt, The clouds and shadows are no matter for thee. Make speech and silence, energy and stillness twin forms of thy play. The Aeon. Be every act an act of love and worship. Be every act the fiat of a god. Be every act a source of radiant glory. The universe. Treat time and all conditions of event as servants of thy will, appointed to present the universe to thee in the form of thy plan, and blessing and worship to the prophet of the lovely star. Okay, that's our little trip through the 2 and 20 secrets of the master from the heart of the master. And if you don't have one of these, the 2 and 20 secret instructions of the master. If you don't have a copy of this wonderful book, it's not a Class A document, but it's a holy book to me, nonetheless. If you can't find the edition that was printed by New Falcon, which I think you probably still can, get it any way you can, because printed out, it'll be very rewarding. It's a wonderful, wonderful text. Well, anyway, that's it for today. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you hopefully back here tomorrow. Until tomorrow, do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will.